Hello Chappets, let me take you on a journey back in time. Yes, back to Essen 2015. What? Back to a time when I had hair? No. In Essen 2015, I remember one night in particular. We'd all finished our big day there. My friends had brought their big sacks of games that they bought. And we went back to the apartment that we were staying, and they get one out and they say, Barry, you've got to try this game. This game is excellent. There were crowds all around this stand all day. And I was like, okay, let's play this game. And the game was called Graphic Baby Blues. Yes. So I played this Baby Blues, which seemed to be a kind of take that game where you play good cards on yourself and bad cards on the other players, and you're trying to eliminate each other. And it was rather bad. Okay, let's roll forward, 2016 at Essen. I'm walking through the crowds, having a great time as normal, and then my name is called out from a guy behind a stand. He said, Barry, come over here. Do you want to try my new game? And I'm like, wow, someone knows my name. But anywho, I go over and I said, yeah, no problems, I'll try your game. And then they show me what this game is. My first reaction was to do something in my diaper. But you know what? I'll show you how this game plays, and then I will tell you how I feel about this game. And then I'll leave it up to you whether this is going to be a good baby boy for you in your collection, or whether it's going to be chucked out with all the other smelly diapers. So without further ado, cue credits. Baby Clues is a small deduction card game where players are babies in a nursery and they each have an allergy. Like this one's allergic to flowers and this one's allergic to water. And you're trying to steal 5 of these scrumptious baby bottles which are filled with something or other. And the way you do this is either you deduce what the other player's allergies are, or you leave the room with 8 of the evidence cards. And if you do that and you get 5 bottles, you are the winner. The first thing you crybabies are going to do is place these bottles in the middle of the table, like so. Well, not like that anyway. Each player will receive a reference card of the 9 babies, and each player will receive in secret one of the identities of the baby in secret, and they place it underneath their reference card. You can look at these whenever you want to remember what kind of baby you are. You then take the deck of clue cards, place them in the middle of the table, and then reveal the top 5 cards for everybody to see. Reminds me of another game, this one. And next to that, you'll place the small deck of escape cards. You'll choose a starting player however you wish, you can cry about it or whatever. And then on your turn, you will choose one of 4 actions. And then play will pass around in a circle. One of those actions is you can take one of the face-up 5 clue cards. Or the second action you can do is you can take an escape card. Third thing you can do is you can accuse a baby of being a particular type of baby. And the fourth thing you can do is you can change your nappies. Diapers, nappies, cushy. Yeah, one of those words. So what if you want to take a clue? Well, it's very simple. You take one of the cards from the pool in the middle and you replace it immediately. Now there are some rules that restrict you from taking certain cards, like you cannot take a card or an item which you are allergic to, and you're not allowed to have 2 of the same item. If you take a card with one of these icons in the corner, you have a special action free. The magnifying glass lets you look through the deck of the other babies. You can look at the first 2 in secret, see what they are, and then put them on the bottom of the deck. The round arrow tells you that you can have another go, so you can retake another clue from the middle, or you can do some other kind of action. And the question mark means that you can ask another player a question. A question about what though? Now that question could be about anything. It could be to say, oh, is your baby in the red zone? Or is your baby a boy or a girl? Or do you have yellow hair? Or, kind of guess who style. Or you could even just say, would you marry me? If at any time in the game you have 8 items in front of you, including escape room card items, you escape and you will collect 3 bottles. So let's talk about the escape item cards. You can take any one of the 3 types of escape cards, but as you see, it'll give you a -1 bottle. So say I had 7 other clues and I had 1 escape room card, I wouldn't get 3 bottles, I'd only get 2 bottles. If you're cunning, you may wish to identify one of the other player's character traits. This is very simply done. You use one of the cards that you have in front of you, one of the clues, and you give it to them. And if they are allergic to it, they immediately reveal their identity. You win yourself 2 bottles, and they put their identity back into the deck of identity cards, they give it a shuffle, and they draw themselves a new one. They remove all of their cards in front of them, and they have to start from scratch. But let's just say that you accidentally give them the wrong clue, and they're not allergic for it. They get to place it in front of them as part of their collection. They also get a compensation of 1 bottle, and if they managed that card was the 8th clue that they needed, guess what they get? They get 3 more bottles. So you have to be careful there. And the last action you can do is change your diapers. What this means is you take 2 more cards and add them to the pool in the middle of the table. And then what will happen is when a player takes one, the pool gets smaller. And if someone takes another one, the pool gets smaller. You never add more than 5 cards unless you're changing your diapers. This is useful if all the clues you already have in the middle of the table are there, and also if you're allergic to one of those clues. So to sum up, Baby Clues is a board game that every Guess Whoer is going to fall in love with. Yes, if you've played Guess Who, this game is very, very reminiscent. It's kind of like a baby step up in complexity in regards to Guess Who, and it goes up to 4 players. And talking about 4 players plays really, really well. A lot better than 2 players. 2 players is okay, 3 players is great, and 4 players is great as well. The game is just a small card game which comes in a small box, which makes it very transportable, and so you can play it practically anywhere. It is very simple to teach, and it is very simple to play. The rule book, or should I call it the outward folding piece of paper, does a very good job of explaining all the rules. It has some humorous jokes added in, but the only thing I would say is I don't see the reference between the story and what you're doing in the game. It just seems a bit strange. Babies stealing bottles, but they can steal bottles by either taking clues or identifying another player. But anywho, it doesn't matter about the story too much because it is just a fun game. Let's talk about the components. It is a deck of cards, and they are a really nice deck of cards. They feel good quality. The artwork on the cards is really, really fantastic. It's simple, it's cute, it's adorable, even for a rubber and a horn, yeah. The only thing I would say about the artwork for the babies is that it's a little bit convoluted. When it comes to asking questions, it's not as easy to say, oh, has your baby got blue eyes, or has your baby got green eyes, or has your baby got brown hair, because it's kind of difficult to see. Some of the babies don't have hair, and some of the babies, well, there's questions there, I suppose. Does your baby have something on its head? You have to really look intricately. There's oh, has your baby got something in its hand, or is there a bottle in the background? Those kind of questions will be useful, but it would have been For younger players, they don't see those things, and again, you need to really look hard at the artwork to actually see them, especially on the reference sheet, which makes it really hard. I'm glad that they did put the coloration of the 3 different levels, but it would have been nice to again distinguish which of these are boys and which of these are girls. I mean, I know which ones are boys and girls because I asked the designer, but those kind of things would have helped in the question section a lot more. Again, talking about the components, the baby bottles, really nice idea. It's really simple kind of little thing, but you know, it adds to the game. And you may be wondering why there are blue ones and there are pink ones. Well, there's a variation in the rules. Whenever you ask a question, what you do is under the table you give the person that asked the question to you one of these bottles, and one will mean yes and one of them will be no. So there's a little kind of hidden strategy there, so take that for what it is. The gameplay, as well as being simple and a fun game, can be stretched into different levels of strategy. There are different strategies that you can go to. You could just take the clues, or you could go around guessing players, or you could do a mix of the both. I found out that playing with people that are very good at deduction games, that they will always kind of win, because there is a strategy to remembering what players took what and when, and what was on display when they took it, and what actions they did, and what they're looking at, and how long they take, and all these kind of things that go into a deduction game, like a real kind of criminal kind of detective story. Yes, I've played against a player who was able to guess everybody's identity and win the game quite easily, but also I've played with young children and they just like taking the cards and then having to guess every now and again. And again, if you're an adult playing with children, you've probably got a good chance of winning over the younger children. So it's best to play with the same kind of skill group, I think, if you want to have a interesting game. If you want to have a game which just plays really quickly and you need someone who's got an IQ up here and someone who's got an IQ down here. Guess where I am. Games play out pretty quickly. Obviously, the more players, the longer it takes. The game will take about 15 to 20 minutes with 4 players. But the thing is, what happens afterwards is, people start going like this. Oh, I see how this works. And then they want to play again immediately. And so you'll probably play this game back to back whenever you get it out, which is really great because it's quick, it's fast, it's fun. Apart from the deduction, there's also a bluffing element that can be added to the game depending on the players. You can just like throw some subdifusing little comments here and there to try and throw people off, you know, your character. Or you could like talk to the others and say, okay, I think that he's either that one or that one. Look, I've got this card and you've got that card. If I play this card and I get it wrong, you play your card. You know, there's communication, there's cooperation, but at the same time, you are trying to bluff the other players into doing things that you want them to do and not to try and guess your kind of your character trait. And obviously there's a high element of push your luck as well as a bit of random chance as well, because again it's a random deck draw, you're drawing cards from a pile. But again, that will play into maybe some player on their turn, every time there'll be a card with a little icon on it and it'll be like, oh, they get to do an extra action, or they get to look through the deck, or they get to do an extra action again. So there is a little bit of luck, but it is just a quick, light game. So there you go, Baby Clues, a really fun, light game, and I give it an 8 out of 10. So all that remains for me to do is to say thank you very much for watching this video, and hopefully I've pointed you in the direction whether this is one for your collection or not, because you don't have to own every board game that's out there, you just need to own a few good ones. I'd also like to say thank you to these chaps who help support me and what I do. You too can if you check out BoardGamesEverybodyShould.com, or look out for me on Berkey and Badger's Board Game Babble podcast show. Breathe. And I will say ciao for now, and remember, play nice with each other, please.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at coolstuffinc.com.